Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, the People's Mic, where real convos meet real people. This is your girl, B Jessie, and it is the 30th. Didn't have to look at my hand for that. It is the 30th of July. Where did July go? I don't know. So it's been a rough week. I've been dealing with some of this whistleblower stuff, which is it just is very consuming. Um, and it wasn't just left in Florida, apparently. So I've been dealing with the New York portion of that. But as always, I'm going to showcase some of my jewelry. I'm going to be selling jewelry and talking smack as the channel dictates, right? So I'm going to showcase today some of rounds. That's what they have themed together. There is a new format. By the time this airs, it's going to be Fabulous Friday, and we have new finds, new drops, which I will showcase. Again, the theme is round. Okay, so starting in the news, today we're going to start with the late, not so great Lindsay Ladybug Grams. Is anybody else hoping that Stephen Colbert takes his seat for South Carolina senator while his darling sis warms it up for him? Rest in peace, ass wife. Next in the news, we have Little Momo in the closet Johnson. That's Mike Johnson. He's been in the news this week. First, can I say shout out to him because we are loving the moments that he has where his mic is on. So keep up the good work. If you guys remember several weeks back, he said that speech about how they're coming for us. That was wonderful. Anyway, so he's been on the news working on the Stopping Insider Trade Act. LOL at best, right? Yes, it's hilarious. Otherwise, he's been working on this Louisiana thing. And he's also in the news regarding, he also held a special legislative meeting, like an update, and it was exclusive because it was closed to the press. So that's what he's been on the news about. He was also on the news criticizing. So Fauci this week they had a Senate hearing regarding COVID. Yes, that is correct. 6 years later. Okay, if you guys remember, Anthony Fauci was the chief medical advisor to the president, and he was the director of NIAID, which is the National Institute of Allergies and Infectious Diseases. So he invoked his Fifth Amendment right to so he pleaded the fifth in his responses regarding COVID. And so little Momo in the closet Johnson had criticized it along with other members of the GOP. They're currently kind of calling, some members are calling for the arrest of Fauci. But if you guys remember that he was the chief medical advisor to Trump, so maybe those people should be calling for that arrest of his boss. Anyway, so here we have, again, keeping with the theme of round. This is very seashell-y. I don't know if you see it, like it sparkles. The back, you could definitely see in the back, it looks like a seashell. In the front, it has like these pastel green lines. It's not really heavy, but it is a full seashell. So it's kind of resilient in that way. So this is the first one. Also in the news, guys, we have who I call douche perjurer Blanche, who's our acting attorney general. So basically his confirmation is still pending, or rather postponed, because what they're doing is if you guys are aware of the rift that Senators John Cornball and what's his name, Tom Tillis have So what they're stating that what they want actually is something either more concrete or more in writing, something in writing regarding Trump's slush funds to his goons, and also tax um, the tax immunity that he was calling for his family. But if you guys keep in mind, even if that is provided, he's our acting douche perjurer AG could pretty much at any time change that. And I mean, we're seeing how slick they are, right? So we can't expect that that they will do that, even if they receive. First of all, they're probably going to cave because they just caved not that long ago. So we should be expecting that. So next in the news, we have Kex Breath. That's P. Kex Breath. And if you guys remember, it's been a week since he had his Senate subcommittee hearing regarding the Appropriations Committee, which he had his budget request, which they were requesting another, I believe, 60 something or 80 billion something. I think it was 60 something for the war. And since he also had that PSA where they were discussing like testosterone, gender affirming screening for service members, to keep in mind is that he is slowly but surely being scapegoated for this war. And is that a shocker? No. So these earrings, I actually have two the same. I don't know if it's necessary for me to put both on, but they're very pretty. They're cocktail earrings. This one's like blue and green, and as you see, they're like dangling. They have pearls. This last one, the pearls are just green, and then there's blue on this one, black on that one, and blue. They're very pretty, and I have the same one in pink. So next on the news, we have SmokeyEye Cornball. Shout out to iHip, the iHip podcast. They call him SmokeyEye Robinson, but I've always called him a cornball, so I kind of just blended SmokeyEye Cornball. And he's been on the news because he had an interview with podcaster Joe Rogan. And he basically outright stated that there has been a mishandling of the Epstein files, from Steam files, as I call them. Which, no shit, Sherlock. I think he's so focused on being liked. I mean, specifically him. I want you guys to keep in mind, like, they do this thing where they have like this Christian nationalist or evangelist posturing, which it's kind of like signaling. I call it peacocking, especially him. Everything that comes out of his mouth is posturing, is posing, is peacocking, because he is very much aware that he is on the Titanic, and they are definitely. I don't know if there's some people that still question if they're really intentionally realizing that they're kind of directing our government towards fascism. It's true specifically with him. So he's also been on the news regarding there's like an open criminal investigation or inquiry regarding one of the members of his USS, right, which is the United States Secret Service, providing intel or details regarding like his personal details, like his movements. And specifically with him, he's also been in the news regarding they're saying that he has regarding his well, the first matter is like an OPSEC issue, which is a operational security compromise, right? But this second issue regarding also his personal movements or personal details, they're claiming that he's either using or abusing or misusing his details, his personal details regarding his kids, like what he does off work. Okay, so these earrings, what I want you to pay attention, they're the same as the last ones were. I don't want to make this video too long, but this is basically the same as a dangling cocktail one. It has more pink where the other one had green or blue or teal, and it is very pretty, as you see. It makes a noise, a little dangling noise. Also in the news, we have Mitch McConnell. And a lot of this is alleged, right? But his alleged proof of life second picture is just as shitty as the first, minus the newspaper. For this one, he is rocking, though, a blue plaid. You guys are welcome to see it. It is out there. Next in the news, we have our Canada tariffs. So our POTUS is touting a 50% hike on Canada's goods. What the goods that are covered, I believe, are dairy, alcohol, and like other manufactured or agricultural goods. I think the only thing that's exempt is like energy fertilizer type goods. The CUSMA, which is the Canada, United States, Mexico agreement, is applicable here. Okay. So, I mean, but if you guys keep in mind that it was just a couple days ago where he had told Treasury Secretary Bissett, he told him, cut off Spain. He basically said that they were like lagging or they were behind their numbers for NATO of the 5% contribution. But he later walked it back because NATO has said that they had been, that they had met their quota 2% of the 5%. So as you guys are familiar, I mean, he has no awareness of trade pact or any of this stuff. So these earrings here, I'm showcasing. They're purple. You can see they're purple. They have little specks of white. I'm not too sure if you can see that on the video. But again, they're round. They're circular. They're dangly. These don't make such a jingly noise as the other ones, but they're very pretty, very cocktail. Surprisingly not as heavy as the She Show one, okay? Also on the news, we have New York Mayor Zoran Mandami. He had stated that if if Israel's Prime Minister Netanyahu were to step foot in this soil, New York soil, that he would put forth the ICC, the International Criminal Court's warrant, that he would adhere to it. To which Netanyahu said he was still coming. To which then Mayor Mandami walked it back a couple days later because he stated that he doesn't have the legal authorities to enforce said warrant. So the new beef alert is Netanyahu called him, or stated that in his speech he's promoting anti-Semitism. Hello, this is what they're all saying. This is the new label that they're throwing around, anti-Semitism. And so the new beef is that the Jewish bar had written Mandami a letter stating that he is like being selective or purposely or deliberately not hiring like members of the Jewish community that are like marginalized, or the Jewish community is marginalized, and he's holding them out of employment. To which he replied with, basically, I don't ask my employees what their religious affiliations are, so it makes sense. Also in the news, we have AIPAC. So AIPAC right now is on desperado mode. They have provided to the tune of 50 million, which is like 40 something million donations, funds to their Michigan-backed candidate, Haley Stevens, right? She is coming up in the August elections with, you guys are aware, the populist Abdul Al-Sayed. She's in the polls with him, and so he's like the working class candidate, the populist candidate. So what you seen in this earrings here, they're blue. They're kind of like of a flower, and I have another one that's like a flower. I probably should have included it here, but these are kind of like pearls. They're like multi-angular, very pretty, not heavy at all. These are surprisingly very light. So regarding that, Abu Al-Sayed is at least in the polls ahead by at least 15%. So I guess he don't need that though, right? And so I brought this forth because this is for her, for the can of whip ass that she received during the debate. Anyway, so next in the news, we have the measles outbreak, and it has been a resurgence, I believe 35 years since 1991 that we've seen these numbers, or actually we've outdone those numbers. Uh, it's just crazy right now. And John Hopkins is stating that what the best practice for the measles, for prevention, or for being proactive is vaccination. To which our health and health and human services secretary, RFK, most parents are listening to him. And there's a lot, I mean, not a lot, all of these cases are preventable with the vaccination. So I mean, I don't know what that says about these parents listening to an individual who has stated he had a 40-something year addiction to heroin, and this is the same individual who's clipped and kept raccoon carcass like roadkill's peanuts. So I mean, I guess he would be more important than your kids, right? Looking at these earrings here, they are dangling. They have lots of blue pearls. Very, very pretty. A little bit heavier than the ones before. Just a tad bit. So also in the news we have, so we're back at war. I mean, did we ever stop? Like, this ceasefire agreement is just a joke, right? At this point, we have the 14-point agreements, right? They have all been violated. The 14 points for the what I'm calling the memo of misunderstanding. The MOU, right? Memorandum of Understanding is the memorandum of misunderstanding, obviously, if all 15 or if all 14, excuse me, have been violated. Okay. Also in the news we have oh, is this the last one? Okay, this is the last one. I feel like I missed one. Okay, so lastly in the news we have Trump has received his lowest poll numbers at this point. And I guess what you can attribute is that since he is the one in office, most of his claims are falling on deaf ears. Which even his MAGA community is like diminishing, right? So I think that's all that I have to say about that. I believe his poll numbers right now are in the 30s, 32, 33 or something, which is the lowest. And it's mostly in part to this war, but mostly also to economics, right? He is now in office, so even his own supporters, his own allies, his own loyalists are finding it hard to believe when they're doing the whole boo-hoo, boo-hoo, Biden, Biden, Biden. You know, the last item that I have, guys, just to add real quick, because I did find it, is these charcoal-like gray earrings. You can see these might be my favorite ones out of this set of rounded or flowery ones. It has green, they're bejeweled, it has blue, very pretty, a little bit heavier than the other ones because it's like probably like the thickest steel. I want to thank you guys for joining me on the People's Mic, where real conversations meet real people, and for joining me on Fab Fry, which is Friday's new finds, new drops. And I want to remind you guys to please subscribe, comment, and smash that like if you like what you see. Thank you. Stay safe and stay blessed.